Tom Quay,
Oh, yeah.
who I think you've known for all of your wildlife career probably. And I'm just curious as to how you came to know Tom and the other people that you had a hand in your training and so forth.
Well, Tom Quay was one of my tormentors when I was at State College. He'd get us up before daylight and go out and listen to bird call. And I reckon the only person that really enjoyed that was Bill Hangman, because he was a real birder. We thought that was pretty terrible back then, but I guess it was justified.
Well, it showed you that you could identify bird species by song before you could see them.
Right.
And that's the basis of censuses,
But
especially on territory.
I'm sorry to say I don't remember many of them, Tom. I know Bob White Quail when I hear it. And
I understand you like quail. You go on one of those coastal field trips with me?
oh yeah, we went down to Madam Mesquite.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah,
Ducks, geese, and swans.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Did you have a class of Z.P. Metcalf?
Yeah,
He created the wildlife program in '37.
yeah.
The Ross was your real tormentor.
The Ross Stevens, he was a tough man.
But he knew his stuff.
Yeah, but he was determined that we were gonna get educated in wildlife, and like I pointed out earlier, that there were 25 students started in that program the year I did, and only 3 graduated. So that gives some well, of course, you know, some people enroll in the program just don't know what to do and maybe get out, but
Now, did Ross teach a number of courses?
yeah,
He taught all the wildlife courses,
Yeah.
I guess.
all the regular wildlife courses.
Yeah.
And
There weren't too many of them.
no, well, most of the courses we had to take was, didn't, at the time at least, didn't seem to me, were real important in wildlife, but parasitology and,
Physiology,
and
comparative anatomy.
comparative anatomy and,
Well, of course, as Tom pointed out in his interview, the program at NC State developed right along with the Wildlife Commission's program.
Oh, yeah.
Grew and so forth. So it started with some of those early courses and grew into a whole lot than what you got now.
There, remember Charlie Sullivan?
yes,
He officially graduated later on, but he was there. And J. Shelton Wicker you mentioned,
mm-hmm.
which brings up the point that everybody that studied wildlife didn't end up practicing it.
No, it sure
But there
did.
was something about the training they got in the wildlife curriculum that let them do eventually in life almost anything. What was that?
Well, it was a pretty broad education,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Like I say, there were very few courses in actual wildlife management, but we took in everything.
Basic biological sciences, physics and mathematics and all that stuff.
Yeah. And,
And like Charlie Sullivan helped Joe Rabb and Ken Wilson study muskrats and raccoons and things, nutria, up in the northeastern part of the state. And he would work with them all the time, winter and summer, sing all the time. And but he went into the housing materials business, never did a day of wildlife. But he always loved it. And he recently gave something like several $100,000 of stocks to the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences to support people studying natural resources and wildlife. Just last year he did that.
mm-hmm.
And J. Shelton Wicker never did a day of wildlife.
Right,
But
he got in the oil business
Down in Fayetteville, he married this beautiful woman whose family had an oil business.
and then wound up in the legislature.
For 20 years, he was chairman of the Environmental Budget Commission. That was a budget commission.
Yeah,
And then he became on the board of governors of a great university. So how can, it strikes me, you know, you studied wildlife and you loved it and you did a great job all your life. But other guys did other things with a wildlife background. That just impressed me a lot. Wildlife can do anything. And most of them did.
well, I think about like I said, I was in the second class that graduated, and in the first class, there were 5 people in that class, and none of them went into wildlife.
I was in, I took my master's in 1940. I was teaching ornithology, yeah.
Yeah,
Mark Taylor did that bird dove work,
yeah,
but he went off the board. He didn't come back. He went to the Amazon to cut down trees. And he died 2 years ago in Beaufort. I didn't even know he was there. So I'm impressed by the nature and quality of the basic training. I think that must apply almost anywhere. If you get good basic training in something, you can do
Oh, yeah.
almost anything. Even be a politician.
well, I give Ross Stevens a lot of credit for that. He developed the program,
He did it,
and
and he's just stayed that way. Fred Barker
Yeah.
kept it up, and it's that way today. You got to take all that broad stuff
Yeah.
today in wildlife.
Well, and one of those things those fellows understood is that, you know, managing people is really what it's all about. And how you do that is a very important part of it. And I think Stevens and Patton and others understood that.
Patton understood that.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned before, we used to teach that studying wildlife was habitat management, and then habitat management came out to be people management.
yeah,
And you have proved that today.
yeah, right,
Remember old Doc Watson, federal aid in Atlanta?
yeah, oh yeah.
He used to be mad, he fumed separately at Patton, because Patton would not raise his voice. Doc almost in a whisper, and Doc had to listen and listen, he just madder and hell. And he knew Patton did it on purpose. Well, Doc Watson was a good guy.
He was. Good man. Yeah.
We've had a lot of our students in wildlife all over the world. We've had 2 guys become chief of the Fish and Wildlife Service, John Rogers and Gene Esther.
Mhm.
We've had them become regional directors, Jim Pulliam in Atlanta, college professors, create new businesses like Jack Dummer. He's a photographer and writes stories.
Yeah,
Hallelujah. Early training is important, isn't it?
absolutely.
How about your grade school training in high school? They have influence on you?
Not a whole lot.
That's interesting. I remember every teacher I ever had, they all had an influence on me. I would have gone to hell, excuse me, I wouldn't have been too good, had been my teachers. From first grade to graduate school. It's a great thing, public education, tremendous thing. Did you pay your brother back?
Yes, I did.
Charlie,
And,
you're
in connection with that, I don't think I mentioned it, talking about, see, this, back during the Great Depression, as we call it, people now can't realize what the situation was back then.
That's right.
And, like I say, I wanted to go to school and managed to work out this deal with my brother. And when you see now, the figures come out here about how much it costs somebody to go to college for a year. I think back my first year at State College, I kept close account, I had to. It cost me $425 to go to State College in 1936, my first year.
Well, I went to Arkansas in '34. There was no out-of-state tuition. Registration was $15 a semester, and I got board and room in a boarding house for $17 a month. them were the days.
Yeah,
And you were twice as rich when you went from $1 to $2 a day.
yeah, right. Yeah, you see, I saved enough to get me started. And if I'd have stayed home and just worked in the backer for $1 a day, I would have made it.
In 1933, the rate of unemployment in the United States, and this is men only, was 33% unemployed. 33%.
Oh yeah.
You emphasize that. There wasn't any money.
$1 a day. A man could get $1 a day if he could find work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, those times are hard to imagine if anybody that was not living at that time.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. My first salary when I went to work was $1,800 a year.
Was that in Pennsylvania or here?
Oh, here. Yep.
You took it.
Oh, yeah. The second year it went up to 2,000. Yeah, but that was a lot of money in those days. And I think another thing, observation that I've made of people in this profession, like you and Charlie and others, is that their motivation and their satisfaction didn't come from the money they made. It was
No.
from the job they were doing and their interest in trying to do things that were important.
It's basic. It's
Yep.
basic.
Well, I think you had that much interest in the work, or you wouldn't have stayed in it.
Absolutely.
I
That's
mean,
right. That's right.
you know.
You loved it.
Yeah.
And we didn't work by the clock.
Right.
No.
We did the job, that's all.
Especially if you had to go out and catch the night hunters for deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I think, talk about changes, Bob, I can think, back then, the overtime that we put in, back then, you didn't get paid for overtime. Now, like when I was working the deer hunts in the mountains, for instance, I'd leave here on Sunday morning and come back home the next Sunday. And we didn't get paid any overtime.
Nope.
Now the boys, if they work overtime, they get paid
Oh, yeah.
for it.
When they have comp time, they take that time off.
Yeah, right,
something,
that's
yeah.
what I mean.
No, we didn't have those things. No, we were able, when we put in overtime like that, to take some time off. And nobody said anything about it if you did that to try to make up that.
Well,
But that never added up to
it never
as much
added
as
up to
overtime you put in. No.
I was talking with Dick Hamilton, who's the Assistant Director of the Wildlife Commission, and he has the feeling that right now, the Wildlife Commission may be in the best shape it's ever been. He feels good about the programs though.
Yeah,
I hope you feel good about your contribution to
I
what it is
do,
now.
I do, yeah.
And Clyde Patton wouldn't let you get away because he needed you in Wake County. You were his
He
troubleshooter.
wanted somebody here he could put his finger on.
You were his troubleshooter.
Well, you were lucky, and you were the only one I can think of that never had to move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they changed the districts
Yeah,
from what they were originally.
right.
My district I start with went all the way up to Guilford County. And then later on, they changed the districts and made my district more down this way, north and east of here. And talk about time, you see, I work from home, this is my office, and you were never away from the telephone.
Right.
I mean, people call, and you want some seed
You're on duty all the time.
or just wanted to talk about something, whatever. You had to be available anytime.
Yeah.
Used to be 9 commissioners, as you mentioned,
Yeah,
and now there's what, 16?
17, I think.
And they're gonna add 2 more right now.
that's what they need.
Well, Mr. Black in the House and Mr. Bassnight in the Senate wanted to have two more. But I'm pinpointing the fact that be a commissioner and wildlife commissioner is now still one of the most coveted appointments in the state. It's a really a valuable
Yeah.
appointment to be on that commission.
It amazes me, yeah. I remember this commissioner down in District 4, Bob, you remember his name? I know. But,
Well, there was Bridger, and then there was
No.
Jack Hooks. Who else?
well, anyway, I remember this guy that we had a district meeting to introduce him to the personnel in the district, and the first thing he said was that he had realized his life's ambition to be a wildlife commissioner. I thought to myself, are you sure that is your life's ambition to be a wildlife commissioner? But he was serious about that.
There's the idea of public service, that's
Yeah.
good.
Well, we've had some good commissioners over the years, I'll tell you. Some I've known. Of course, a lot of them I didn't know. But, Mr. Ernest Beale,
He was good.
he was as much interested in wildlife
Very,
work as
very
anybody
conscientious.
I've ever known.
Yep.
And, he didn't push his way around too much. Once in a while, he had to insist that some individual be moved or something because of problems or something like that. But he was a genuine man, a genuine wildlife commissioner.
He almost put full time into that job.
Yeah. Well, he was
He did.
retired
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, he had time to do it. He belonged to Wildlife Society, and he was that active in.
We've had a lot of good commissioners. We've had some that were real problems too, but by and large, most of them were conscientious and wanted to do the right thing, make a contribution.
I often say, about the Wildlife Commission politics, now to me, looks like it is on NC State College campus. There's politics there too, that's not just
Oh,
all
gosh.
academic.
Oh, absolutely.
Campus
absolutely.
politics is,
Any school, well, that's what I pointed out about my father getting booted out as county superintendent right in the middle of the Depression. Politics in schools, man, it's as rife there as anywhere in the world.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Politics is what happens when any two people get together about anything,
yeah.
even between man and wife. There's politics. It has to be. It's negotiation, huh?
You're right. But I was very fortunate over the years in the commissioners that I had. I never had one that gave me any trouble at all.
No, that's true. District 3 had pretty good people. Like you say, Holt Evans pushed that deer
Yeah,
project, but
he
it
about
but
got
it was a good thing.
he about got me in trouble with that because I saw that the project was going ahead because he said it was going ahead. So I entered into it wholeheartedly. And I learned later that Mr. Patton didn't like it.
No, he was concerned about two things. One
Yeah.
was that it was not an area we had control over. And the other was that we were involving a sportsman's group in an activity that he thought was actually dangerous. He worried about something happening to some of those people, catching deer in the river down there. And there was
Well,
some cause for concern.
Well, of course, actually, our professional wildlife protectors were actually doing the catching.
Yeah,
You know, these people were just driving.
but he thought at
Yeah.
one time they were gonna do something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, back in the old days when you were working earlier years, but the only environmental stuff was wildlife people. But now, on the State College campus alone, instead of 4 environmentalists on the campus in the 1940s, there are now over 500 people. What do you think about this? What's the meaning to wildlife about this environmental movement?
Well, I think it's good. Overall, all their ideas are not good.
It's much wider.
Yeah.
Environmentalism in the old days was wildlife conservation and management. Now it's a much broader kind of a thing.
When they get into anti-hunting and things like that, that's not good. But
Well, the Sierra Club and the Audubon Society now are all for hunting under the kind of conditions we have through the commission and the national activities. It used to be that folks thought the Audubon Society was against shooting anything, and the Sierra Club was just a bunch of tree huggers. But that's changed.
well, oh yeah.
For the first time in recent years, Wildlife Federation, the National Wildlife Society, the National Audubon, the Sierra Club, Defenders of the Earth in Washington, instead of working independently, are now working together. And that's got to be more effective.
Yeah.
Well,
We were working together, don't you?
Yeah. And we got a long ways to go yet, but it takes time. I think back about talking about the deer, for instance. We put into effect the buck law, deer, against the law to shoot a doe deer to build up the deer herds over the years. Well, that was so ingrained in the people that when we begin to get overpopulation of deer, where we needed, in other words, you could not control the deer herd just by shooting bucks. So we proposed to have a antlerless deer season, we call it, maybe just a few days in certain areas. And it was our job to hold these public hearings. You had to hold a public hearing. Well, that's some of the hottest things I've ever been into. You have a meeting at night and it'd be 100 or 200 people there, And I give the proposal, have the map, and then ask for comments. Well, boy, we got them. And they just about have a knockdown fight sometimes. You see, you had the landowners there who were plagued with the overpopulation of deer, and you had these hunters who'd been taught all their life, you don't shoot a doe deer. And that's not to say nobody ever shot a doe deer, of course. But
Current hot subject is, what about Sunday hunting for deer?
yeah, Sunday hunting.
There's a lot of push for that, but
Yeah.
the state just won't go for it.
I hope they don't ever do it. I think they ought to have a day off, everybody.
Well, some people pushing Sunday hunting say there'll be much more hunting and much bigger economy because you could go out camping for the whole weekend and you don't have to come back Saturday night. You can hunt Sunday too.
Yeah.
There'll be much more hunting.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I chaired a committee that studied that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Chapter. And, well, our conclusion was that it really didn't have any effect on the wildlife
No, I wouldn't.
populations.
Yeah.
It's a social issue.
That's right.
And I don't think it'll ever pass in this state. It's just not looked upon favorably by most people.
It doesn't matter.
It's unacceptable. So,
Well, over the years, we've had times when it felt like that the hunting pressure was what was reducing game. I have never believed that. I remember one time we had what we call lay days for
Yeah.
quail hunt. In other words, you can only hunt certain days a week. Well, I got in an argument with Patton about that. Because my experience was that hunting was not the factor in reducing quail at all. Because I'd seen the experience I'd had right here, how many people quail hunted and how hard the hunting was done, and still the next year you had the quail population because you had conditions suitable.
What do you think about this attitude of Frank Barrett that predators are bad? You got to kill all the predators so there'll be more quail. Kill all the hawks and owls you can find.
I don't agree with it at all.
I don't either. Used to be a
Not
good
at all.
biologist.
I don't agree with that at all.
That's right.
We've always had predators. Well, when we had good populations, we had predators.
That's what it is.
So they're a part of the whole system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Part of the system.
And,
Yeah.
well, in fact, I think that's been demonstrated on some of the preserves down south, hasn't it, where they actually trap the hawks and kill the foxes, and so the cotton rats took over,
Yeah.
you know.
Stoddard never believed in that. Stoddard was he did a great big book on the
Right, sure, I got it right in there.
Absolutely. Great book.
Out of my Bible.
So way back when you went to work, that was part of your job, was predator control, right?
Right, that's right.
No. Well, I guess we could go on and visit for a long time. This
Yeah.
has been enjoyable.
Yeah, that's the trouble. You get the thing, and things keep coming back
Well, that's good.
to you, you know.
That's good.
I'm glad, aren't you?
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I am too.
I read the obituary every morning and see my name's in there. If not, I'm happy.
Right. Every morning I get up, look at the paper.
Well, this is fun, so let's do it again. We don't always have to have a camera.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I don't know whether it made sense or not,
Oh,
but,
it's pretty good. Pretty good. I understood it.
Well, thanks a lot, Charlie, for hosting this and telling us about your
I
experience.
appreciate the opportunity.
I think you've given one of the clearest and best discussions of the whole thing I've heard.
Yeah.
You got it in your head. It's there very clearly.
I think it's wonderful that we're getting some of this stuff on film,
Needs to be done.
even though some of it may not be worth much, but some of it's going to be valuable.
is.
Let that history
Yeah.
decide that.
Yeah.
This is one of the best projects we've undertaken.
Oh, yeah, that's
Well,
good.
I think it's wonderful.
Okay,
I've enjoyed it.
thanks again.
I appreciate the opportunity
Absolutely.
to shoot my mouth off.
You were always quiet about that. You didn't talk much.
No, I was trying to learn something. Well,